Everybody, it's Policies here, and welcome back to a brand new video. There are definitely some ex and still current Bernie bust people and Bernie supporters who are thinking to vote for Gary Johnson instead of Hillary Clinton. And I have done a whole lot of videos talking about why Gary Johnson is a terrible choice for progressives. And I'm going to talk about that for a little bit now. But besides the reasons I'm about to tell you, before I get into that, let me just be clear. A vote for Gary Johnson is really a vote for Donald Trump. Gary Johnson, at this point of the race, it's impossible for him to win. There's 35 days left of the election. Gary Johnson's hanging around anywhere between 8 to 10%. Donald Trump and Hillary are all up into 40%. Jill Stein's just off the map. Voting for her is literally just, don't even go vote then, right? Because she's hanging on at like 0.5% now across national polls. But a lot of Bernie Sanders supporters, they want to vote for somebody who's progressive, but they feel like Hillary Clinton might be a sellout or she's lying a lot, and they just can't trust her. And I could see that. Hillary Clinton I would say she's always been more of a, to be honest with you, more of a really left Republican. Right? I would never say that she's been a hardcore. Well, actually, she was a pretty hardcore progressive when she was first lady for Bill Clinton. Right? She tried to push universal health care, and if you look at that bill she's trying to push, which was destroyed by the pharmaceutical and healthcare companies because it would have taken them out of business, it was highly progressive, just as progressive as Bernie Sanders' national plan of healthcare. Very progressive. But after she got hit in the head with that and lost, she kind of became a lot more practical and realized that passing significant legislation like that isn't easy, and you do have to get not only Congress support, but a lot of times the lobbyists will do anything they can to knock you out. So she kind of became a lot more moderate. But let's go ahead and look at Hillary Clinton's positions. Hillary Clinton is against Citizens United. She wants to raise the minimum wage. Right? These are great. She wants to get up to $15 an hour. Bernie Sanders has pushed her to the left, and she has vowed to do that. She wants to make community college free for everybody, which is very affordable, right? Very affordable to do. It's not very expensive. That's going to help out a lot of people that don't have a lot of money. It's going to help out minorities. It's going to help out blacks. It's going to help out pretty much everybody that wants to go to college. And she wants to fight climate change, which is great. And she's just, I would say she has the most progressive platform now. And a lot of people are saying, well, she's going to change when she gets in office. I don't think so. Because Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders and Barack Obama, who is, who's kind of not as left as we hope he'd be. But they all put their own names. They put their own asses on this, right? And they're really gambling on Hillary Clinton. They are, because they know that she's tied up with Donald Trump, but they're still campaigning for her, trying to get her in office. And Bernie Sanders is a man of his word. Bernie Sanders is the most honest guy to ever run in American politics. And he is saying, hey, get behind Hillary Clinton, right? He's telling all his supporters that, all the college kids, get behind Hillary Clinton. A vote for Donald Trump is terrible. A vote for Gary Johnson is terrible. Now back to Gary Johnson. He says he's a libertarian, but he's really not, right? First of all, a progressive would hate him for many, many reasons. Bernie supporters should look into what he actually believes in. First of all, Gary Johnson is a huge supporter of TPP. He really wants to pass it. He has said it multiple times across TV. He has it in different articles when he talks to different magazines. He thinks it will help boost trade, and it will secure America as a strong trading partner with Asia Pacific, and it will do that. But of course, it will sacrifice a lot of America's low-end manufacturing jobs. But it will boost a lot of our more advanced medical, weapons, and aeronautical technologies, right? But the poor guy's going to get screwed in TPP. That's fact. And Gary Johnson doesn't care about that, right? Gary Johnson is pro-fracking. He wants to just open up fracking all across the country. And I know you Bernie and bust people out there are really against it. It is really bad for the environment. And we have enough fuel and we have enough money to find other alternative ways for fuel without destroying our environment and just fracking all over the place. He's totally behind Citizens United. So you could find Gary Johnson on a Young Turks video in which Cenk was interviewing Gary Johnson, and Cenk really pushed Gary Johnson and said, what do you think about money being in politics? And Gary Johnson said, hey, I think it's okay. Gary Johnson said it's okay if money's in politics as long as everybody's transparent. And I kind of see where he's coming from. I'd rather everybody be transparent, and pretty much on their website they should have like a whole section called sponsors in which you see all the logos of the companies. That would be good. But money in politics is an issue. It controls the candidates, and it would be, I think the country would go probably a lot better if candidates couldn't take money from companies and they had to actually fight for the people. The country would change significantly, and they'd be a lot more pro-consumer and a lot more pro-people, right? So he is totally for that. Another thing, and these are the two big issues why Sanders supporters would absolutely hate Gary Johnson. Number one, he doesn't believe in climate change. There are interviews of Gary Johnson talking about this in depth, why he thinks it's just pretty much a big hoax, and how he wouldn't pass any legislation to fight climate change. And the reason he's saying that is not because I don't think he believes it. I mean, he's kind of an idiot, but I believe he's saying that because he's bought off, right? He does get a lot of money from oil companies. He does get a lot of money from fossil fuel companies, and he can't actually come out and say that. And he does get a lot of money from banks. So he's kind of I think he's lying about that because he can't get out there and put that out there, or his funding will get cut off. So that's a major issue, right? If you're really worried about climate change, like myself, right, we need to stop burning all these fossil fuels so we don't burn ourselves up on the only planet we have right now. You know, Elon Musk hasn't taken us to Mars yet, right? And even if we do go to Mars, we still want to protect our beautiful Earth. It's such an amazing, such a cool planet, right? It's quite unique. So that's a really major issue that if he was president, which the chances are zero, he would just burn all kinds of fossil fuels and just frack a lot. And another major issue is, of course, he doesn't believe in minimum wage. He's against it. So he would like to wipe out minimum wage and let market set the wages. A lot of people argue, well, if you do that, that means more people get hired, right? Because that would be more jobs. Instead of paying somebody $15 an hour, they could pay 5 people each, $3 an hour. But look what it does then, right? That means you're going to have a lot of people making below poverty wages. They won't even be able to pay rent. They're going to suffer, right? Companies have enough money to pay people living wages. They choose not to, so they could give bigger dividends. Believe me, I'm a stockholder. And give people bigger dividends, give their stockholders more cash, right? More appreciation, balance sheets full of cash. So this is the kind of guy we're talking about. Gary Johnson is not even close to being progressive. I think a lot of his supporters are coming from the more of the conservative side, the people that can't vote Trump because he's just a maniac, but they can't vote Clinton because she's too progressive. So they kind of fall into the Gary Johnson camp. But I would say that those people, even on that side, more on the Republican side, should still give Hillary Clinton a look. And yes, I'll admit, I'm pro Hillary Clinton. The reason I'm pro Hillary Clinton isn't because I'm a hardcore progressive. It's because I genuinely, deep in my heart, do believe that she would do a much better job as president than Donald Trump. She will fight climate change. She's going to fix our immigration problem without building a stupid wall, right? She has great ideas for the economy. She's going to expand Obamacare, expand a social safety net, which we kind of need right now with the economy still kind of spudding along. And I don't think she's going to pass crazy legislation that's going to strangle businesses and raise taxes too high. I think she is kind of a slight moderate on the left side, and she'll pass a little bit of progressive legislation, such as free college and ensure that banks don't do insane things, but she's not going to strangle markets, which is good for anybody looking for a job, and it's good for anybody that has any type of investments, even if it's $100 to $55 million, right? So I think that's a major reason to vote for her, is that she is quite practical. She will get things done, and she has really, really detailed policies that Donald Trump just simply hasn't produced. Trump hasn't even talked about his tax plan in a lot of depth. He came out with one tax plan, but it would really short our government's budget by trillions of dollars, which is a major issue. And Donald Trump hasn't talked about how he's going to pay for the wall, because the Mexican government has already said they're not going to pay for the wall. Donald Trump doesn't have a plan against fighting terrorism like Hillary Clinton does. Hillary Clinton, everything she has a policy for. You go to her website and check it out. Donald Trump is still very vague about many of these issues. So, I mean, to me, Gary Johnson is just a complete wasted vote. Donald Trump is also just... I think voting for him is a maniac. It's really difficult for me to even understand why people would vote for him, unless you absolutely 100% hate our economy. You hate everything about America. You think Obama's 8 years were total waste. If you're one of those people, there's no way I can talk to you. There's no way you would ever listen to me anyways. There's no way you're going to listen to anybody even slightly on the Democratic side. There's no way you're going to listen to anybody that's even progressive anyways. And you're going to vote for the most radical conservative possible. And if that's the fact, then actually Donald Trump isn't your guy. And actually your guy would have been Ted Cruz, right? Donald Trump used to be a Democrat for 20 years, and he was pro-choice. He was pro-healthcare, and he was actually, there's videos of him actually saying he was a big fan of Hillary Clinton. He even said, I think she'd be a great president. So, yeah, Gary Johnson's a total loser. He's a maniac. He should drop out ASAP. He probably won't, because he believes that if he runs this election and loses, he'll have his name out there, name recognition, to run again in 2020 on a Republican ticket against Hillary Clinton. If you guys like this video, go ahead and click like, subscribe, and I look forward to hearing from you all again soon. Peace.